and welcome back to Betty. I'm your host, Cynthia Thompson, and I'm here with a dear friend, Monica Allen. She is the current president for the National Forum for Black Public Administrators here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you for joining me today, Monica.
Thank you for having me, Cynthia.
So, Monica, what exactly is the National Forum for Black Public Administrators?
I know it's such a long title, but the National Forum for Black Public Administrators is one of the premier organizations for blacks in public leadership. It was founded in 1983 by 12 individuals who held key positions, key executive positions in different cities and counties across the country. And basically they realized that there were a lot of challenges for African Americans in the community, and so they decided to find NFBPA, and it was birthed out of the International City Managers Association. And so today, NFBPA has just had a strong presence. It's been around for 27 years. We're actually in over 40 states and 350 jurisdictions, with probably around maybe 1,800 members nationwide. Yeah.
So public administrators, what exactly does that mean?
Well, public administrators can be a host of different things. Public administrators typically are those individuals that work for city and county governments. They can also work for the state governments as well as the federal government. So when we say an organization for public administrators, we look at that as a target, those entities as a target group, but then we also have individuals that may support the organization in nonprofit organizations as well as the private sector.
So what is the mission of the NFBPA, or National Forum for Black Public Administrators? What's the mission for them?
Word for word? No. The mission of NFBPA is really kind of threefold. The first part of the mission is to strengthen the position of African Americans in the public sector, the public service. The second part is to increase African Americans and the number of African Americans who assume executive positions. And then the third portion of the mission is actually to groom and prepare younger public administrators for seasoned positions in the years to come. So we're trying to prepare that generation to ascend to those positions that are held by key executives.
So can anyone join NFBPA, or is it just for folks that work in the government area?
No, anybody can join NFBPA. We certainly don't discriminate. Actually, our base is more than just public administrators in city, county governments, or state or federal governments, but a lot of our members actually are part of what's called a National Corporate Advisory Council, and that's basically those entities or individuals and entities who are in the private sector that sponsor a lot of the events that NFBPA holds. So our membership base includes the private sector, but it also includes university students. So we really have a strong focus on making sure that we target and reach that generation so that they can come into our organization to help sustain NFBPA. So basically it's open to anybody.
We're going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the types of memberships that the NFBPA has.
Okay.
Okay?
So you can't save money? That's easy as pie. Drink from the tap. A $3 bottle of water a day times 10 years times 6% interest is over 14,000 clams. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to Betty. I'm your host, Cynthia Thompson. I'm here with Monica Allen, and before we took our commercial break, I asked her about membership. What types of memberships do you have with NFBPA, Monica?
Let me see if I can get this right. We actually have several levels of membership. We have the individual membership, which is the most common membership, and that's basically anybody who would like to join NFBPA can do so for $200. And essentially what happens with the $200 is $175 is submitted to the national organization for support of their programs nationally, and then $25 goes back to the local chapter. That individual will be a full member for a year and have all the access to the benefits that the organization offers at the national as well as the local level. The second level of membership is what's called an associate membership, or that could also be I guess akin or likened to business membership. So for those people that are in the private sector and want to support our organization, if they're a corporation, they can come in at one of three levels. The first level is if you have an organization that is less than 250 people, you can come in for $1,000. $250 to $499 is about $2,000, and then anything, any size organization that's in excess of $500 is a $5,000 membership. And so those individuals, again, they'll have all the rights and access to our organization. And then we also have a student membership. Actually, there's 4 levels of membership, not 3, but third level of membership is our student membership. So we don't want to charge them $200, so we actually allow for students to come into our organization for $25.
Oh, that's good.
Right, and then the 4th membership that we have is for retirees. So if you are retiring from your respective workplace and you meet the qualifications, then you can actually get a reduced membership for about $75. So you're not paying the full cost that an individual would pay of $200, but you can be a member in our organization for $75. What's the criteria for being a retiree? I have yet to find that out. But you can be a part of our organization, basically any area of government and or public, private, nonprofit, or student.
So tell me, what are the benefits of being a member of this organization?
Oh, the benefits of being an organization, I think, vary from individual to individual. But in terms of national benefit, you have reduced membership or reduced conference rate for the different conferences that we have annually. So if you're not a member, you would pay a certain amount, but then if you are a member of our organization, you would pay a reduced amount to attend one of the conferences. You also get exposure to different private entities. So when you do attend conference or any of the other quarterlies that we have for our members, then you can access those private companies and potentially get a job. You could submit your resume to them and just kind of network with them. I think the highest benefit or the greatest benefit to being involved in the organization is just the networking and social piece of it all. So aside from just having the reduced membership at conferences or the reduced conference rates, and aside from just being able to submit your resume to somebody who's on the private sector that supports our organization, it's just so wonderful just to be able to network and socialize with other African Americans who are in key positions, but other African Americans who are just in public service as well. Oftentimes when you join certain organizations, you have access and exposure to a variety of different people, but you know through NFBPA that if you want to interact with people that are like-minded, that do the type of work that you do, well, NFBPA is a great organization. You can network and socialize with those people. And the benefits are locally as well as nationally at conferences. But I also think, you know, if I go to another city, say I go to DC and I'm an NFBPA member, I can call up somebody there at a local chapter and say, hey, can you show me around? I'm part of NFBPA. So it's like a family. So I would say even though you get the financial benefits and the reductions in conference rates and what have you, I think the networking and the social benefit is much greater.
I present to you Algebra 2. Who will step up to his challenge?
Me.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
I understand that you all have several educational programs within your organization. Can we talk about some of those?
Yes, we have several programs. At the national level, we have 2 key programs. One is called our mentoring program, which is basically to groom and prepare younger public administrators or even newer public administrators that may need that extra boost in their career. And so essentially, those people who come in as mentees or proteges into the mentoring program are paired with somebody who's at a higher level in public sector or public service, like a key executive. And they have a variety of different things. They do a career development plan with them. The mentee or the protege has a special project that they'll work on that the mentor signs off on. And then at the end of the term, which is about a 9-month period, the mentee / protege will actually present that project at one of the quarterlies in front of a review panel of well-known researchers that will actually critique their project. So of course their project is under the guidance of their mentor, as well as their career development plan is under the guidance of their mentor. But the mentoring program is really to kind of target those people who are new to public administration and or younger. And I say younger, preferably under 40, because you can make some correlation that those people that are under 40 are probably in the lower level positions in organizations. So that's the mentoring program at the national level. We also have an Executive Leadership Institute, and that is targeted more for those people who are higher up, middle managers to executive level type individuals. The focus of that program is not necessarily to pair those individuals with a mentor, but it's to really bring all those individuals together to talk about the issues facing the Black community, as well as issues that are facing public sector in general. So if you can imagine you're executive of a key organization or of an organization, and you're trying to deal with how to increase your revenue or something like that, well, you would be a part of the Executive Leadership Institute that would help groom you. You can also talk with other individuals who are facing those same challenges that you are. The program is, I think, a lot longer. It's 12 months, over the course of 12 months. And basically what the people do who are in the Executive Leadership Institute, they'll travel from city to city, and they'll have different sessions at different universities that have partnered with NFBPA.
Oh, really?
Yes. So like the Maxwell School of Government is one. That's sponsored by Syracuse University. They'll go to Syracuse University, they'll go to University of Minnesota, and then they also go to your Clark Atlantas of the world. So it's a very diverse program in terms of exposure to different researchers, professionals, people who are experts in the field of public administration. And so basically the participants in ELI, they'll go to the different schools and get exposure to different facets of government. Those are the two key ones at the national level. Here locally, in the last year or two, we've actually created a mentoring program that is modeled after the national mentoring program. So we kind of do the same thing that the national program will do, where we actually pair a mentee, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a younger public administrator, but maybe somebody who wants to move to the middle level of government, or somebody that wants to move from the middle level to an executive position. And we'll pair them with a seasoned executive so that they can help groom them and give them some advice as to what they need to do to move up in the organization or to move up and out of the organization. So our target group is a little different than a national mentoring program, but we still try and provide the same level of service, if you will, that the national program does. We just don't say you have to be a younger or newer public administrator. And then we also have something called the Professional Development Institute here locally. Nationally, they don't have a program that's like it locally. But the Professional Development Institute is an institute that was started by my predecessor, Michael Bryant, and he basically saw a need for us to provide some quality programming to our members as well as non-members. And so the PDI was birthed last year, and we offer a variety of different programs, training workshops, marketing yourself, resume writing, how do you do Six Sigma, balanced scorecards, so on and so forth. So this is actually the second year of its existence. And we've taken it from what was a pilot program last year and now made it more evolved. So for FY10 and FY11, sorry, 2010 and 2011, I'm still thinking I'm on the county job. 2010, 2011, we're actually going to broaden it. So you're going to have up to 8 different workshops and programs that you can take advantage of, and 8 different trainers, if you will, or consultants that will provide the programming. So we look forward to it growing, and we hope it will be a benefit to all people, members and non-members.
Wow. So if a person wanted to find out more about NFBPA, besides what we've talked about today, where would they need to go to find this information online?
Well, there's a couple of different places. Nationally, there's the website that has a host of information about the organization in general, from its inception, history, founders, who the contacts are, what the organization is about, including the program's mentoring program as well as the Executive Leadership Institute. And that website is www.nfbpa.org. But if they want to bring it home a little bit and find out what we're doing here in Charlotte, they can actually visit www.nfbpa-charlotte.org. And that will have all of the information on our programs, current programs, as well as some of our events and kind of who we are here locally.
So Monica, if I understand correctly, you told me that there's a national NFBPA and there's also a local NFBPA. Did they both start at the same time? How did that happen?
No, they didn't start at the same time. In 1983 was when the national organization was founded, and that was by 12 founders. And then 10 years later, in 1993, the local chapter was actually founded by one of the national founders. And so today we have actually, in honor of John Jack P. Bond, we actually have named our annual golf tournament in his memory, because he's now deceased. But it founded with a couple people in 93, and then today we're probably about 75 plus members strong. Yeah, so over the last decade and a half, we've actually grown the organization here locally, and we're considered a medium-sized organization, a medium-sized chapter. You have different categories. You have small chapter, which is anything less than 75. Because we're at 75, 6, 7, we're actually a medium-sized chapter now. So congratulations to us. Over the last couple of years, we've gotten to that place. And then there's a large chapter. So we're actually a medium-sized chapter. And you know, over the last several years, my predecessors and others, officers and their committee chairs have actually worked really hard to grow the organization.
Well, we're going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to ask Monica how being a part of NFBPA has impacted her life.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a
One
dad
more
today.
time. Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
Welcome back to Betty. I'm your host, Cynthia Thompson, and I'm here with Monica Allen. She is the current president of the NFBPA here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And before we went on break, Monica, I asked you, how had NFBPA impacted you?
NFBPA, where do I start? I'll just give you a little bit of background. It was early in my career after I finished graduate school. And I took an internship into a public organization. It was the city of Norfolk in Norfolk, Virginia. It was unpaid, volunteer, but I said I need experience. So of course I get into the organization, and I was an intern even though I had a graduate degree, but I was willing to take a step back to do what I needed to do to get to where I am today. It was in that organization where a lady by the name of Cheryl Orr actually approached me, and she said, well, if you're going to stay in NFBPA, if you're going to stay in government, you need to be a part of NFBPA. Cheryl today is like my mentor / my second mother, but she was in NFBPA for about 20 years. And she said, you know what, I'm going to take you with me to this conference. I just want you to see what this organization's about, but I think if you're going to stay again in public administration, this is something you need to really consider. And so it was through her really how I just gained so much interest in NFBPA. Went to conference with her, and I had a blast. I was exposed to different executives across the country. I was also exposed to people who were in their early infancy of their career like me. There was a lot of workshops that benefited me. There was also a lot of social networking opportunities that benefited me. So it was almost instantaneously like NFBPA became a family to me. Since that time, I think everybody I've interacted with in public sector or public service has been a member of NFBPA or has heard of NFBPA somehow, some way. And when I say interact, what I mean is that when I went to work for the county about 3 years ago, I knew 2 of my bosses through NFBPA. And I also knew the county manager, who is Harry Jones, and he used to be former national past president of the organization. So when I went into the organization I work in now, which is the Mecklenburg County, I connected with my 2 bosses, Harry Jones, and they continued to reinforce what NFBPA meant to me. So from then, I just said, this is a great organization. I see great value in this organization. It's an asset. It will be an asset in my portfolio. And then within a year later, they said, okay, you need to be an officer of this organization. And I still had yet to know what Charlotte was about. But I said, you know what, I really believe in the organization. I love it. I see it's growing. It's been around at that time, I think 24 years before the 25th year anniversary. And, I've just really taken a liking to the organization. So it's been of great benefit to me, mainly from the social and networking aspect, but I was also a part of the mentoring program. So I got my foundation there as well in 2004 when I was a part of the national mentoring program, and they paired me up with an executive who to this day is somebody that I still communicate with. So the benefits are wide-ranging, and NFBPA has just been a great organization for me, and I'll continue to be a member.
We talked about all of the work that you all do. Does this group ever have any fun? Here lately. Or maybe too much fun, huh?
Yeah, I think the fun is more at the national level. And what I mean by that is that at the conferences, they know how to work hard, but they also know how to play hard. So you'll have receptions, you'll have social networking events and opportunities that are hosted by a variety of different people, including the private partners that we work with. Here locally, we've been really focused on the last couple of years on programming. We don't want to be known as a party organization. We really want to bring some value to our members. So if you pay $200, what are you going to get?
Right.
Well, we're going to give you, you know, access to different programs we may have in terms of speakers. You can also be a part of the mentoring program that I just mentioned, or the Professional Development Institute that I also just mentioned, for a reduced rate. So, you know, we're providing the programming, and I think we're just now really trying to figure out how can we have a good balance of the programming as well as the networking and the fun activities. So what I have planned, or what I have in the hopper for the next year, is maybe, you know, in the summertime when we have a downtime, we have a picnic. You know, it's just NFBPA Family Day for our members here locally, and that, you know, it's nothing about business, but it's just about coming together and just having fun. And then throughout the next 6 months before we get into our summer recess, we'll have a series of after-work networking events as well. But I think the balance is no balance right now. It's very heavy on the business and the programmatic side, but we do strive to have fun as well.
That's good. Also, Monica, where do you see NFBPA in the future?
I see NFBPA as continuing to be that premier organization that, you know, I started off our conversation with telling you it's one of the premier organizations out there for African Americans in public leadership and public service, period. But I see in 10 years the organization being even stronger. In fact, right now, nationally, they're creating a 2020 plan. To where they will put some things in place to where the organization can be sustained for the next 10 years. And one of the strategic targeted efforts is to making sure we continue to provide those quality programs, as well as reach out to those university students and create those partnerships at the local levels so that the students can be really excited about becoming a part of NFBPA and be engaged. Because when I move into the next realm in my career, it's going to be those students that are going to be replacing me and those other people that are like me. And if we don't put that in the 10-year plan now, they won't be there in 10 years. So I really see the organization being strengthened and being enhanced and being a lot better than what it is today.
The mailbox and the traffic light. Both are ideas from the minds of African Americans. Support the United Negro College Fund, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
I want you to talk directly to my viewers. What would you tell them about NFBPA and why they should support and want to join NFBPA?
NFBPA is a really great organization, and I think anytime I tell people about the organization, I really try and encourage them to first actually come to one of our meetings. Just see what the organization is about. See how the people are. In fact, I had a student one time approach me and say, you know what, I thought the NFBPA members were actually very kind of tight and stuck up, so to speak. Hate to use that word, but and then she came to our golf tournament, and I said, you know what, you can go up to the county manager, the current county manager, you can go up to any of our members, and we're really not as tight as you think we are. And so when she attended the golf tournament, she really got true exposure to who we are as an organization, and I think that opened her up, and she felt a little more comfortable in being a part of the organization. So I'll continue to tell people, you know, if you have a certain perception of government employees, public sector employees, NFBPA is probably not like what you think. It's actually a very warm organization. Come to one of our meetings, meet our people, meet me personally, and then decide if membership is for you. And if membership is for you, there'll be a host of different things you can get involved in, programs, events, you can lead, you can serve, you can volunteer, and the like. So if I had to try and tell anybody anything about NFBPA, it's a really great organization for those people that are interested in public service, but also for those people that may work in the private sector, because that way it'll take you out of just that network of people that you know and you're comfortable with, but it'll help you merge with a different culture. So come join us at one of our meetings, look us up locally on the website, and I look forward to having you.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Monica.
Thank you, Cynthia,
Hope
for
you all
having me.
enjoyed and learned a lot about NFBPA here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And if you want more information about NFBPA or about Monica, you can go to my website at www.abetteryourshow.com.